The 15-Point Plan is part of the Win, Make, Give podcast network.
Hello. Welcome to another episode of the 15-Point Plan podcast, where we talk about ways that you can increase your energy, decrease your stress, and just overall be happier in life. This is the 15-Point Plan podcast. I'm Jacqueline Smith. I'm here with my co-host, Ryan Greigg. Ryan, say hi.
Hello, everybody. Hello. It's great to be back for another episode. We are so excited for this one.
Yeah, and we are going to talk about an amazing human today.
Who's that, Jacqueline?
Well, he has been in real estate as of today for 10 years. He is someone that many people look up to. He not only has created a business that a lot of people look to as sort of like a North Star in the industry, but at the same time, he has definitely helped keep his health in check. He's a great dad and just an overall amazing friend and teammate. So, Ryan, I'm going to introduce him to you. Is everyone ready?
Let's go. Drum roll.
Greigg, it's Ryan Greigg. It's him. It's Ryan's 10-year anniversary today for in real estate. That's a big deal.
That's right. I am celebrating a decade, Jacqueline. Today I am celebrating 10 years of real estate. So we thought, hey, why don't we turn this conversation into what that has looked like for my life? And of course, how that applies to this 15-point plan, how that applies to health and wellness, how health and wellness have actually probably impacted my 10 years in real estate more than anything else. Of course, my mentors, but how health and wellness and the 15-point plan, before it was even called that, have helped me over this last decade. So yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, Ryan is a true OG of, real estate in our company. And he's also an OG with the 15-point plan. So Ryan, take us back to year one and tell us, what kind of agent were you? Just kind of bring us back to that time. What were you chasing when you got into real estate?
It's really wild to think that it's been 10 years, Jacqueline. It really has blown by. And it didn't feel that way in the first couple of years. For those that don't know, my previous career was a DJ. I was a traveling DJ and tour manager. So I traveled all over the world. I played reggae music and hip hop music. And then I started doing artist and tour management. And at that time, so 10 years ago, my son Bentley, he would have been 3. And I quickly realized that doing that was not going to allow me to be the father that I truly knew that I could be. So I changed careers and I got into real estate with some advice from other people that said, you might be good at this. You should check it out. And so my first year was, I guess, just figuring it all out, figuring how the heck do I do this? Have I made the right decision? What do I need to do? And thankfully, I found myself in such a great place and situation, joining our team and partnering with our team and having great mentors like Ben and like Jacqueline, and then meeting people like you along the way, Jacqueline. But the first year in real estate was the most challenging year of my life. It was by far the most challenging year of my life. And I think it was because of that it's made me into the person that I am today. So as hard as it was then, looking back on it now, I'm thankful for all the things that happened to me. I lost people to death. I got divorced. I almost died myself. My net worth was negative thousands of dollars. And all I was really trying to do, Jacqueline, was, I guess, make a little bit of money so that I could turn my life around. I was broke and broken. And I was alone and I was hurting. And thankfully, I took out all that anger and frustration and sadness and I just poured it into real estate. And that was where the 15-point plan really started to be planted as a seed into my brain, because everywhere I would look, Jacqueline, not just in real estate, but everywhere I would look, the successful people in any industry, they were getting up super early. They were exercising before they'd go to their business. They were meditating. They were journaling. They were eating well, all these things that I did not do. And I just studied that. And I thought, well, shoot, if these people are doing that, the Tony Robbins, the Brendan Burchards, all these people that I see as the top in their industries, I thought, well, if it's working for them, maybe it'll work for me. And I just started chipping away at those things. Fitness was the first thing. I started going to the gym. Started getting up a little earlier. Then I started meditating, and I just started meditating for 2 minutes. I learned from Tony Robbins. He had that whole 10-minute morning routine where he meditated for 3 minutes. he journaled for 3 minutes and he did like affirmations or breath work for 3 minutes. He was knocking all that out in 10 minutes. And I'm like, well, shoot, I can find 10 minutes.
So I want to go back a little bit, Ryan. You said you were a DJ.
Yeah.
And then you got into real estate and you started like researching or being exposed to all these highly, highly successful people. And you noticed these trends, one of them being that they got up early and they worked out. I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say that when you're a DJ, you probably didn't get up very early.
No, I didn't. The joke is, Jacqueline, I used to go to bed around the same time that I get up now. Back in the day, the club would close at 2:00 and I would have to pack up gear and I would get home and it would take a while. And this is actually super interesting, especially at this time of the year, because right now I absolutely love waking up to the sound of the birds chirping. Mm-hmm. In fact, I try to get up, and at this time of the year, it's hard. I try to get up before the birds start singing so that I can hear them start singing. And I remember being annoyed as a DJ when I would get home and I would be trying to go to sleep and the birds would start singing.
Oh my gosh.
So it's interesting how that's come full circle. But when we talk about getting up early and starting to get up early, you can't just go from 7 a.m. or if you're a DJ like I was, getting up at 10 a.m. and then going to 7 a.m. You got to do it in increments. And the best way to do that is 15 minutes at a time. Get up 15 minutes earlier for 2 weeks, then 15 minutes earlier for 2 weeks. And then your circadian rhythm in your body is going to not know. And there was a time where I was getting up about 3:45, and I did that for a year or two with my good friend and trainer, Ryan Jensen, and the 4 Sharp group. And I realized that was just a little too early because I was crashing out at 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. And that prevented me from being the dad I wanted to be because I'm trying to go to sleep at 7:30. And my son is like, Dad, I'm not, it's way too early. So I've adjusted that.
So I was going to ask you, we kind of answered it already, but I was going to ask you, what was the hardest year in all of your 10 years? And you said that was your first year was your hardest year in the last 10 years. So what did that year teach you? Just in general.
Yeah, first year was definitely the hardest year. It was the hardest year personally. Business-wise, I would say maybe over the last few years have been the hardest. But I guess, frankly, it's really easy compared to that. You can always get through business stuff. It's the personal stuff that makes the hard things even harder. Mm-hmm. It's easy to show up when life is good. It's so much harder to show up when life is lifing, as my Tai Chi Hakim would say. Like, life is lifing and things are falling apart all around you. But what I learned was I can cry in the parking lot outside my office. But when I walked into my office, I could put my superhero cape on and I could power through the day, and that saved me. And what I learned during that time was find the way to park those things for a minute and then find the things that are going to help you get through all that. Find the way, like the meditation, so you can process that stuff. Don't just stuff it away. Don't just drink it away. Don't just smoke it away. Process those things and work through them. And going through those hard times makes you a hard person. And we've talked about this in the past of the David Goggins, stay hard. Mm-hmm. And I did that for a long time. And thankfully, I've worked through that. And then I found the softness in life, and finding the softness in life and the gentleness in life and the grace in life, I think for me has been one of the greatest parts over the last few years, because you don't need to be hard. There's a season for being hard, maybe in everybody's life. But there's also a time to just be a little more gentle with yourself, stop and smell the flowers and enjoy life and take the lessons you've learned through the hard times and apply those, but find the softness as well, because there's beauty in that.
I love that. So what would you say to people who, I think that's very common, like going through personal things when you're trying to start a business, and sometimes it just feels like maybe I can't do this right now because like my life isn't cooperating with me. So I'm just going to go get a job. Like, what would you say to someone who has life? Would you say life is lifing?
Life is lifing. That's right.
And, and they did get into the business, whatever business they're trying to grow, whether it's real estate or something else, but life is lifing. What would you say? So many people quit,
I think most of us quit right before the greatness happens. And I believe, Jacqueline, in universal laws and truths. And I think that the universe is, the more we want something, the more the universe is going to test us. I made this declaration after it's funny, I was a DJ professionally for just about a decade. And I essentially made this declaration to myself and to my son and to my family and to the world saying, I'm going to get into real estate. And I believe the universe said, oh, really, Ryan? Is that right? You want to get into real estate? You want to change your life? You want to become a millionaire? You want to do all these things? Let's make sure you want it bad enough. And so I got thrown everything at me, from death to divorce to me almost dying to being broke. Every reason that I could have quit and gone back to being a DJ or gone to just go get a job was presented to me. But thankfully, number one, I didn't quit. But number two, I had people around me that supported me. And I'm forever grateful to Ben and Jacqueline and all the people that when I was crying in the office saying, I just can't do this, they said, you know what, Ryan, I think you can.
Mm-hmm.
So find the people in your life that believe in you and find ways to give to them. And know that when you want to quit, greatness is just on the other side of that. And the more you want something, the harder life is going to hit you. It's going to knock you down. It's going to kick you. It's going to punch you. And then when you're thinking it's all over, your dad's going to die like mine did. These things are going to happen. You can't have life without death. And so I guess I've also become a little bit hard into that. And sometimes maybe too hard when people say, oh, somebody died. I'm like, yeah, I know people die. I get it. It sucks. But the universe is going to test us the more we want something, and making a massive change, like changing your career and saying, I'm going to impact my son and my family's life by becoming a millionaire through real estate wealth. That's not a small task.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the universe will really test us. And you just need to know and make the declaration to yourself, I am going to do this no matter what. I have made a commitment. I am going to work through this. There's nothing that will stop me. I might get knocked down, but no matter what, unless I am dead, I'm getting back up.
Yeah, I think it's so important to have, like you said, the people around you that will speak into you when you don't feel the capacity to, believe that. But what did you think back to a moment? I'm sure you had several where, yeah, you mentioned you were crying, you didn't think you could do it. People were telling you you could. How did you believe them in that moment? When you were really feeling like you needed to quit and you couldn't go on.
It's a really good question. How did I believe them? I guess I looked at them and I thought, you know what, if they've done it, what's preventing me from doing it? If somebody out there is going to get the greatness in life, why can't it be me?
Mm-hmm.
Why can't it be me? And so I believed in myself through believing in others, thinking, you know what? Look at what Ben's done. Look at what Jalene's done. Look at what Jacqueline has done. Look what all these people have done. Like, somebody's going to become a millionaire. Somebody's going to be super fit. Someone's going to get divorced and find a beautiful new relationship. Like, thankfully I have. And when I think about all those boxes that you mentioned earlier, like he's a real estate agent and he's a great dad, I hope that soon somebody says also, and he's a great partner. He's a great spouse. He cares about the woman in his life so much, and all those things that make a well-rounded person. But I guess I just looked at other people and I thought, they've done it themselves and they're believing in me. And if they can do it, what's preventing me from doing it? And if I can just chip away at all those things like the health and the wellness and get a little bit better every single day, there shouldn't be anything that can stop me from doing it just like other people have.
Yeah, that's good. So you followed the 15-point plan before it was the 15-point plan. You mentioned, the meditation and everything that you've added in. You have a really structured schedule, right? Like you follow your calendar and you have a morning routine and really, I'd say a daily routine. What advice would you give to someone that I know a lot of these people where they're just kind of like, they feel like they're all over the place and they try to follow their calendar or something like the 15-point plan. And it's like, they just can't do it. Like they fall off, what advice would you give, whether it's a calendar or 15-point plan? Because what it really is a system. So when you're trying to implement a new system, what advice would you give to someone?
I think step number one is looking at your goals and looking at why you're doing it. I don't remember who said it, but Lucas Sheridan, one of our partners, has mentioned it multiple times. When the why is big enough, the how shows up. Whatever you think you can do, you can probably do it. So why not think a little bit on a larger scale? Think bigger. think, you know what, if I could do that, well, what if I could do this? And then if you create these goals, and then if you push yourself, and then if you go do these things that are crazy, like take your son to Europe for 2 weeks and you blow yourself away what you were capable of doing, you get a taste of that and you want to keep going. And when you get that taste of that, you want to keep going, you want to keep pushing, and you want to keep growing and doing all these things. And so finding that structure, finding that system of things that have allowed you to get that little taste of, well, shoot, my net worth was negative. Like when I look at my first ever progress picture, I'm like, that is so depressing. And then I look maybe a few years later and a few years later, and I'm just like, I never want to go back. Well, what was it that took me from here to there? What was it that took me from financial brokenness and mental brokenness to being a little bit more whole and complete? Well, it's this system, it's doing these things. And so I guess I just know that when I follow those, how good I feel, how whole I feel. And if it's as simple as that and following that plan, well, then just like we talked about a couple episodes ago, like there's brilliance in boring. And you could call it a structured day or you could call it a routine. But for me, it's just this path of success that works. And I know how good I feel when I follow things like the 15-point plan.
Love it. Okay, last question as we close out. What are you most proud of from the last 10 years, either personally, how you've grown as a person or business, anything? What are you most proud of?
Oh man, that is such a good question. I mean, obviously I'm proud to be a dad, and I'm proud that I can do what I want when I want. I'm proud that when my mom meets people, she's like, you got to meet my son because he's like this top realtor and she speaks highly of me. I'm proud that I have an amazing girlfriend. I'm proud that I can show up for her and do what we want when we want. And I'm just super proud that like today, when we celebrated my 10-year anniversary here in the office, that some people looked at me and they said, you've inspired me. You've helped me. And just like people have helped me, now I get to help other people. And so I'm super proud in the business world that I've helped people just like me go from negative net worth to buying their first house to buying their second house. And I've just had a very, very small hand in that. They were the ones that did all the work, but I was there along the ride with them. I'm proud that I have an amazing friend group and that my friend group talks regularly. So I don't know, that was a long answer, Jacqueline, but
Good.
I'm proud and I'm grateful. And I'm super grateful that you and I get to talk weekly and we have this podcast and we get to share things that have worked for us with the world.
I love it. Well, thank you for letting me do a little mini interview. I hope this was a helpful maybe peek behind the curtain of Ryan Park Greigg. And if you have ever thought about changing careers, getting into real estate, reach out to us. If you are in the beginning stages of building any business and you are in what we might call the valley of despair, you're crying in your car and you don't have anyone to believe in you, reach out to us. We want to believe in you and walk alongside you. We'd love to hear from you if this episode spoke to you. If you are in the hardest year of your life, reach out to us. We want to speak life and hope into your situation. And you don't get to these decade-long celebrations and the success without going through and enduring the hard times too, and the boring times, and the peaks and the valleys. So we appreciate you all for tuning in, and we'll catch you all on the next episode. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.